Welcome to Shrewsbury News, brought to you by thedailyshrewsbury.com.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Corcoran from thedailyshrewsbury.com, and this is your weekly news. The man responsible for killing the only Shrewsbury police officer ever to die in the line of duty, Edgar J. Bowser III, was returned to custody last month after violating his parole. Bowser, now 52, was 16 when he shot and killed Officer James J. Lonchitis, a 28-year-old patrol officer with a wife and 2 kids, on March 5, 1975, when Lonchitis tried to stop him from stealing a car. Bowser pled guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison. Since becoming eligible for parole in 1991, Bowser went before the State Parole Board 5 times before he was granted parole on his 6th visit in 2007. Conditions of his parole included refraining from drug and alcohol use and from contact with the victim's family. Bowser was picked up on October 27th for committing a technical violation of his parole, according to Terrell Harris, a spokesperson for the State Parole Board. No new charges are being brought against Bowser, but he is to remain in custody. A revocation hearing will be held within 60 days of his parole violation to decide whether or not his parole will be permanently revoked. Lonchitis' 85-year-old mother, Irene Huniston, said the family will be interested in speaking at the hearing if possible. Huniston said she and other members of the family were happy to hear that Bowser was back in custody and that they have been waiting for something like this to happen. Huniston said her grandson, Officer James J. Lonchitis Jr., who followed in his father's footsteps and became a Shrewsbury police officer, was also happy to hear the news. Shrewsbury Police Chief James Hester acknowledged that the Shrewsbury Police Department was aware that Bowser had violated his parole and has since been returned to the custody of MCI Cedar Junction, and said the Shrewsbury Police Department will continue to support the Lonchitis family. In other news from the police department, Sergeant Chuck Pratt and Patrolman Brendan Donahue are hosting a new show on Shrewsbury Government Television. The program will be about crime prevention and keeping your home and neighborhood safe. The show is partly in response to the many break-ins that have occurred in Shrewsbury over the past few months. The show will start airing this coming week on Mondays at 5:30 p.m., Tuesday at 6 p.m., and Fridays at 11 p.m. on Cable Channel 30. The driver in a June 8th accident at Route 140 and Gold Street that caused the death of a Shrewsbury man has been charged with vehicular homicide by negligent operation. Donna Hallbrooks, 70 of 11 Elizabeth Street in Shrewsbury, pled not guilty to the charges of vehicular homicide and negligent operation of a motor vehicle at her arraignment in Westboro District Court on Wednesday morning. According to the police report, Hallbrook was driving her 1995 Ford Escort when she struck the car of Maurice D. Sabrino of Worcester, who was driving a 2004 Mercury Mountaineer, as they were traveling in the same direction on Route 140. The passenger of Hallbrook's car, Shrewsbury resident Victor J. Matson, also of 11 Elizabeth Street, was transported to UMass Memorial Hospital in Worcester, where he died of his injuries. According to the police report, Sabrino was in the northbound lane of Route 140, attempting to make a left-hand turn onto Gold Street, when Hallbrook allegedly struck her from behind, causing her car to move forward into the oncoming lane. Hallbrook's car continued southwest and veered off of the roadway into the grass and struck a tree. According to the report by Shrewsbury Police Officer Richard Fisk, Hallbrook approached from behind without making any attempt to slow, stop, swerve, or take any other reasonable action with her vehicle to avoid a collision. The police investigation did not reveal any physical evidence to indicate any mechanical, roadway, or engineering deficit or other catastrophic or interfering event as a contributing factor in the crash. Both Sabrino and Hallbrook suffered non-life-threatening injuries and were also transported and treated at UMass Memorial. Hallbrook was released without bail on personal recognizance. She is due back in court on January 5, 2011. An early goal and 2 direct kick goals led the Shrewsbury girls soccer team to a 3-1 victory in the state semifinals over Chicopee to move them one step closer to the state championship title. After winning their last 2 district playoff games in penalty kicks, the Colonials were looking for a sure victory in Tuesday night's semifinals game. Just over a minute and a half into the game, senior Bree Brosnan, off an assist from senior captain Chelsea Gallant, kicked the ball just over the Chicopee goalie to give the Colonials their first score of the game and set them up for victory. The Colonials maintained their momentum through the rest of the first half of the game, scoring again on a direct kick by junior Kayla Shea with 3:57 left to play and giving Shrewsbury a 2-0 lead going into the half. Chicopee came out fighting after halftime, trying to chip away at the Colonials' lead. Just over 2 minutes into the half, Chicopee's Alyssa Warbicki put her team on the board with the one and only Chicopee goal of the game. Another direct kick by Shea brought the Colonials back up to a 2-goal lead and gave them some assurance of a win with 25 minutes left to play. The Colonials fought hard in the final minutes of play, focusing on defense while Chicopee battled to get another goal, but finishing out the game at 3-1 after regulation play. In both the Central Mass Tournament semifinal and final, when Shrewsbury played first Algonquin and then Wachusett, the games came down to penalty kicks as both teams scored late, causing the Colonials to lose their leads. Coach Chip Del Prete said that after those 2 games, he was particularly happy for it not to come down to penalty kicks. The girls will be matched up against Central Catholic on Friday at 5 p.m. at Worcester State College to play for the state championship title. Shrewsbury Electric and Cable Operations, Selco, announced on Tuesday that their customers will be receiving a one-time electric rate reduction in December, thanks to lower than expected power costs for 2010. According to a press release, Selco finds itself in an unusually strong financial position and is passing the savings on to all electric customers through a one-time electric rate reduction for all rate classes on December 2010 bills. Regular rates will resume with the January 2011 billing. Selco's regular residential electric rate is 11 cents per kilowatt per hour. With this one-time rate reduction, the effective residential electric rate for December 2010 bills will be 7 cents per kilowatt per hour, a discount of 40%. For the average 750 kilowatt hour per month customer, this represents a savings of $35.33 for the month of December. For Shrewsbury Republican Karen Polito, who spent 8 months campaigning for the office of State Treasurer and was defeated by Democrat Steve Grossman on November 2nd, her post-election plans include settling back into her life at home and figuring out how to keep her role in politics moving forward. Mostly, Polito said she has spent the last couple of weeks enjoying her time at home and trying to make the transition from the public life she has maintained for 10 years while serving as state representative for the 11th Worcester District to private life. To see our full interview with Karen, visit thedailyshrewsbury.com. I'm Lindsay Corcoran, and this has been your weekly news. To see these stories and much more, visit thedailyshrewsbury.com. Be sure to tune in to SPAC 28 again next Thursday at 7 and 10 p.m. Thank you for watching.